welcome to another exciting day of painting in Butler Bay, Fredricksted, St. Croix, with me, Rachel Dziga. So, just a little heads up, it's been raining. Not like non-stop. As you can see now, it's super pretty. But pretty much as soon as you get all your stuff together and you're ready to go out painting, packed up, plein air bag on, hat on, so I wouldn't mind. I've actually gone out a couple of times and had a little splashes here and there and put my watercolors up and then take a swim and enjoy. It comes and goes as fast as it does, and it creates some beautiful sunsets and beautiful skies, so I'm not moody about rain, in no way, and especially I'm in a rainforest, so I'm thankful for those things. I just have to be a little bit more pragmatic when I'm recording. So I chose to sit here on the porch of a Featherleaf Inn. It's an eco-resort here in Butler Bay. It's an old Dutch fort that's a historic building built in 1760. And I've been noticing this beautiful view. So this arch is so lovely how they come together, and then this lovely little checkerboard pattern tiling here. And if you can see in the back, there's a sugar mill from one of the old plantations. And I don't really care for this old tree that it reminds me too much of the stateside and winter coming with its lack of leaves. So I'm probably going to omit that from my painting, but the nice shiny ocean that's hinting in the background, I even like these like deeper underset silver line clouds. And then this nice beautiful bougainvillea and these lovely plants shooting up from behind, the palm fronds, is just so indicative of being in the Caribbean, even if it is a rainy day. So this is what we're gonna do. And there's usually a little iguana that lives on the other side of there. If he pops his head up, we can add him later into the painting. I don't think there'll be enough time in this session. So let's get started. I have just standard watercolor paper. And then I also, if you're new to hanging out with me, I usually rock some Venetian watercolors, which are higher quality. They never really get dry, so I get them all over myself, but they have great pigmentation, and they are really there for punching stuff up, which is so nice, like when it's midday and the water is that beautiful deep Prussian blue and turquoise, which we don't have right now, so we'll still keep them around. We might find these high pigments will be beautiful in this foreground with the bougainvilleas. And then I have just a couple of different cheapies. So I always have like a nice set and then a couple of cheapie sets. I like to have lots of options. Probably should upgrade soon. These here are iridescent, and they are so nice to just kind of catch highlights. They don't film very well, the iridescents, but you know they're there. And for brushes, I just have an assortment. I love these, the ready-made paint brushes. They're also great for urban sketching. And then sometimes I did bring just a couple of colored pencils with me. So with architectural stuff, sometimes I like to give it a quick sketch out. It's kind of the only thing I do quick sketch outs of, but it's just nice to kind of make sure your perspective feels right. And my favorites, I like a taupe, a gold, or turquoise. Those are kind of the only ones I really use. I don't like straight pencil. I feel like it's really difficult to cover up over the graphite, but something like a gold or bronze colored pencil drawn in softly, it already has like a natural warmth to it that doesn't bother me. Some people just go and draw everything with pencils, which is totally fine. It's just not my jam. So, let's see. I think, as always, especially doing something, oh man, I kind of want to go this way. I feel like this might be nice to get this height in here, in these diagonals. This space I could kind of reserve for over here. I feel like my view as well is slightly off from your view. So when I working with perspective and lines, which is always difficult all the time. One thing I kind of think about, if I'm not sure, I just follow it. I follow it with my pencil and I go, oh yeah, that curve is definitely swooping down, that one's swooping up, which means if I come down here, this one's swooping up, and it kind of just gives me an idea. It goes back to that like brain, hand, eye connection. It's almost like I'm drawing it before I even draw it. So, the most difficult part is that sun coming through that window is like, hey Rachel, let me get right in your eyeballs. So I feel like I want at least a little bit of these tiles. Again, it's always smart to kind of think, how much are you painting? Which, I made this cool little guy. A little viewfinder. So I can kind of think, hey, yeah, that's nice. I mean, a little bit of that red ceiling is really cool. Cool. That's my favorite thing about teaching art is that I'm always looking for new ways to create tools that will help my students. And the viewfinder, I just kind of was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, man, that would be a really neat tool. I'm gonna think kind of, I know y'all guys can't see any of these lines yet. So these inner areas going kind of like that, probably even deeper. And then have a little cut there, which is so much sharper. With that, I'm looking at those little indented angles there. They meet. And where they meet is the crease in that wall. So, just helps me kind of get an idea of what am I doing? And that's coming back. Maybe about there. Just kind of blocking all my major shapes in. This is probably super boring for you guys. And again, this painting might be too much for filming, like too long, because it has a lot of working parts. I'm gonna say somewhere there. And this is where I'm gonna have my pens. And not like that there. Okay. And I really love the red in that ceiling, so I'm going to try to add it just up at the top. Ooh, that's a lot of moving pieces, and everything's not totally straight, but it is a start, and a start means that I can start. At least have a little bit of something going on that makes a little bit of something sense. A lot of these lines, it's easier if I can turn the paper which in my workshops I always have markers and rulers and S-curves and everything to help you get everything straight. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Let's throw some color around, right? That's what we're here for. So I'm a big fan of go bold or go home. I think we should just block in a lot of these big color spaces. I'm gonna start from the bottom, which isn't. Nah, I'll start from the sky. So here, I'm just taking a little bit of the cobalt blue, and I have become very particular towards the fancy ones as far as which cobalt I like. It's just a nice, solid cobalt. And this is the inside of my guide. What is that inside? Water's down here. And it's so funny, I kind of forgot that I was at this insert. I'm so used to just being like, oh, let's start with the sky. So here, starting with the sky, isn't starting from the edges, it's starting right in the middle. And I might lose some of my light. It's okay. I always keep gouache in my bag. And gel pens. Okay, and then also I have some sky here. Which this is now kind of giving us those shapes. Like, oh, hey. This is definitely something going on. Okay. There we go. And now, I mean, I could go with a very light and do the shadow spaces. So, I almost wear this as to let you guys. Okay, something about there. Okie dokie. Just kind of blocking some shape and color in, so I know where the heck I am. Yeah. So, I mean, that's a problem.
y'all noticed, but while I was drawing my arches, I made them come out together like this instead of have that divot going in, which is really nice. So, I don't know, guys. I might have failed you already. The problem is that it doesn't really bother me a whole bunch. So I don't know if I want to deal with like giving up the whole painting. Especially if other things work out. Kind of in general. I don't really give up on stuff. I just keep doing it. And I'm gonna throw, I really like the color of these bricks. And one thing I'm doing when I'm thinking about color and mixing is I really like it's a gray kind of cloudy day. So I want everything to be soft and in the same sort of scheme. So I'm keeping it mute. These are very uneven rocks. I don't want to get that unevenness. Extending them again. It has been very nice, the little rains. Okay. And then I also want to kind of brighten it, which I know I just said that I wanted to keep everything mute. But by brighten, it's really very similar to the same hue. I'm just going to add a little ochre. And when I do so, I'm also drying my brush off a bit. So see, it's brighter, but it's not, overpowering the rest of the details, or lack thereof details, really. The overall value is staying the same. How's that? Ooh, tell you what though, when that rain comes in, it was super good. Some variety of shapes and colors. Give it some interest. Okay. Those tiles, those black and white tiles, I love them. I'm gonna work harder on them than I did with this quick sketch out. So now I want to just kind of get some shadow spaces. And I'm accepting that some things will be off, and I'm okay about it. It's kind of difficult trying to make things perfect when you're doing a video. Because if this was a regular workshop, usually it's 2 hours. I would spend at least a fair bit of that time sketching this. This wall is actually pretty bright back there. These are also very bright. I'll make it kind of dull, but a bright dull. This is also some color in it. There. Okay. So, this is a pretty basic layout. I love that red roof. I don't know if y'all can see the red roof, but I am gonna include it. But now that I've kind of got this, I'm gonna go ahead and do, with a smaller brush, some of the fun stuff, like the sugar mill, the ocean right here, that's super bright and definitely going to be with iridescent pink. And then, some of the details on this front trees. So first, I'll go ahead and do the sugar mill. You can climb up to the sugar mill too. There's actually, from this side of the island, there's lots of beautiful hikes and climbs. And beautiful diving. I went diving this weekend and there's 2 shipwrecks out there. It would be super fun to somehow do an underwater watercolor plein air diving. Okay. I mean, I didn't do anything very fancy. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit and then I can do more to it. And then for that water, I mean, it's the strangest hue because it's just completely washed out. So I think something almost like an iridescent greenish sea foam that's really washed out. Let's see about this. I mean, it's very close to the grass or bushes I have going on here. But that is about its tone. It's a very weird color. Very faded though. Haha. There we go. I like that a lot better. And as far as the trees, they're gonna get brighter, so it's all good. I'm gonna pick something that has kind of a push to Prussian in the background. And I'm gonna come in right under here. And then under there. I also really like this bush that's coming through here, and the fact that we got some little plants up here. I like this as an undercolor, or a shadow color, undercolor. And I have a little bit more over here that I have mixed, and I'm adding a little bit of Payne's Gray to it, and I'm gonna bring it in the foreground, because as you can see, it's a bit darker, and I want it to feel like the shadows are richer in the foreground. I mean, I'm not too upset with this. I think it's coming better. Okay, cool. So now, this right here. I want them big, and I want them green. And surprisingly, I really like my cheapies because I think that they just have a more like neutral, Helly green, where with my more expensive ones, they tend more to push towards being like an emerald green, which is really rich and deep. Or I have like a more cool green over here too, a sap green. So this I believe is nice and boom, right? I'm gonna bring it straight up. And when I paint, I try to think a lot about interest. What would I want to look at? What is visually pleasing? And these shapes are nice. Even though I messed up this column, I don't know how long we have been working, but I'm sure it's been, you know, it's still turning into something that's interesting to look at. And then those other ones that are kind of yellowy, yellow. I'm going to take a very, very yellow. More yellow than anywhere near green. Because I'm going to put the yellow in first and then bring the green over it. And I don't want to lose the other guys. So that's about it. Just a hint of that super bright yellow. Okay. And then for the bougainvillea, which is a difficult word to say, I'm going to really pop up the color. And here you could do something like this guy. Actually, when it comes to grasses and things like that, I have a lot of brushes I cut and form that have interesting shapes. There's no such thing as a brush that's dead to me. You can always reuse it for something. But there's always the fan brush as well, which gives nice texture. And I think for those little layers in between, I might use my fan brush. Plus it gives me a good chance to show you guys some stuff you can do with fan brush. So as you see, I kept this area pretty light. I'm going in with the fan brush now. See, I'm kind of making separated layers. I have different size fan brushes too. Okay. And I think I want it even a little bit. This is where I'm going to use my nice expensive colors that are highly pigmented. Because I want that high pigmentation in this bush. There we go. I'm trying to remember I gotta save some room for some pretty flowers. I don't want anything to be too dark. Something like that. Okay. And I actually feel like I'm going pretty fast today. Maybe I'm getting this hang of painting while talking to no one while being by myself, which I don't want to get used to. I miss having you guys here. I miss teaching. Alright, so for the flowers, I'm going to take something a little bit darker first. And just kind of tap in. And I'm going near where I left some light space, but not putting this dark in the light space, because I am saving that light spaces for something really bright. So, let's put in some soon-to-be shadows. Okay. Put one over here, too. I feel like close to that wall, it gets kind of weird. Alright. So now, I can take some bright. I'm going to use a purple that pushes to pink. And I'm also not using a very wet brush. There we go. I'm getting it right in those white spaces. And I want it up here near this guy too. There we go. Kind of pretty. And I'm going to go with something tinier. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh yeah, here we go. Something kind of tiny. And take some dark green. And on these yellows, I just want to do a quick line down. Nothing too fancy, nothing too serious. And there we go. As you can see, that sugar mill now is kind of looking kind of boring back there.